Yo, what's happening everybody, King GBL here, and welcome back to a brand new Go Bat League video. Today I'm showcasing Poliwrath in the Open Great League. I'm doing some practice battles in the Open Great League. This Pokemon is actually currently available in the Fossil Cup, and it's pretty highly ranked in the Fossil Cup if you want to try it out. Believe it or not, I looked it up in the 2-Shield against Ferrothorn, and you do win that with counter, which is kind of nice. So that should be a unique little core breaker for the Fossil Cup. And it's actually ranked 7 in the Great League if you have it as a Shadow, and I believe ranked 40 if it is just the non-Shadow. Now the non-Shadow moveset is different. You're supposed to run Scald and Ice Punch, however, I am running Power Punch and Ice Punch because I kind of want to experience what this would be like as a Shadow. Of course it does less damage, but you can even see with the non-Shadow, the counters are ramping up like crazy. It's kind of like Ninetales where you run Ember on the Shadow and Fire Spin on the normal. I think I'll just run this with Power Punch, Ice Punch in the Great League, and probably in the Ultra League go for Scald and Ice Punch most likely. Anyway guys, let me know what you think about Poliwrath, man. I definitely really enjoyed it. It was a little bit surprising. I didn't think it'd be quite as good, but with the Power Punch and the Ice Punch, it just runs through teams. Definitely had a really good time with it, and you know, of course, rank 7 in the Great League. Funny enough, yesterday I was complaining about all of the new Pokemon being added to the game, not really changing the meta. Well, now we have a rank 7 Pokemon, and hopefully, just like Quagsire, it will be back in Rocket Grunts again with, of course, the move update. I feel like that probably will happen next season, so if you have one, you're very lucky right now. Definitely use it. If not, the normal one is pretty good, but I think you probably will still want to get the Shadow for that extra damage. So for this game here, the opponent was running Deoxys double normal. Definitely a team that's super popularized by Nerds Rising. He does like to run it with Diggersby. On this occasion, we do have Obstagoon, and you know, that's what is going to be really nice about this Pokemon. And I'm going to be trying this out with completely different team compositions. You're going to see, oh, look at this lazy guy not even making a team graphic. I tried out about 6 or 7 different teams, and I'm going to be honest with you, I'm going to put a picture of Poliwrath right there with the moveset, if you're lucky. If you're lucky, you'll get the moveset in IVs, and for the remainder of the battles, you can just see what I'm running. This first team doesn't really make the most amount of sense, because you're ABA weak to Lantern and ABA weak to Medicham. Generally, this Pokemon is very weak to the meta, and you have to build around it accordingly, so it is a little bit tricky. In this team here, we're running a triple counter line. I think this is my favourite team. Now you're going to notice something in the back. We're running Haxorus instead of a Vigoroth, which of course is double weak to Charm. So you might want to just run Vigoroth, and we did run Vigoroth later on. I wanted just to have like a really positive matchup against Lantern. The really tricky thing about Poliwrath is you have to sort of worry about a lot of weaknesses, right? You have to worry about Noctowl, Lantern, and Medicham. Those are all weaknesses for you, right? And then you have to worry about just grass types. You know, it's just so hard to build around. That's kind of the tricky thing with this Pokemon. It definitely does require alignment a little bit. So we're running this Haxorus in here to kind of look to try and, you know, take care of Medicham a little bit, take care of Noctowl and Lantern. I wanted to throw a Dragon in here, but of course, you are double weak to a Fairy. And what do we see? We do see a Fairy. So this will kind of show you what that would be like. I think I might come in to go for the counter down with Poliwrath. Oh yeah, here we go. Big Polly's coming in with his big white gloves. He's like a magician here, going to the party. The magician has arrived at the party, and he's going to counter down the fox. And in comes a Galarian Stunfisk. And ladies and gents, you're going to see these power punches get ramped up here. Okay, so that's done just what you would expect. The opponent dips out here into Swampert. This could be an Earthquake, so I'm going to respect the first one. It is just the Hydro Cannon, and I'm actually happy they baited me here because I want to see how much damage this does. This thing is a little bit glassy. Hydro Cannon number 2 coming through. That does about, what I would say about 30% of our remaining HP. We do have a ton of energy. Power Punch number 1 coming through. Boom. That done a little bit more, and look how much we're ripping through this thing. It is just what you would expect with this Pokemon. It's a little bit of a tricky Pokemon as well with Registeel. If you do run this moveset, you will definitely have to play it out in a higher shielding scenario. So I think that is where Scald is a lot more beneficial. Or I'm actually tempted to run this thing with Dynamic Punch, just nuke things in the back. It's a little bit tricky to build and a little bit tricky to build around, I would say. But I think it has a lot of potential and definitely a very fun Pokemon to use. Now this team here, it's kind of like an alteration of the popular team, which would be Dragonair, Medicham with Power Punch in the back, and Bastiodon. We're using Stinky Binky. Of course, it wouldn't be one of my videos without this little strawberry. We're going to call it a strawberry today. And yeah, this is kind of just toxic. This is a pretty toxic team, I think. It is very weak to Lantern though. The Lantern weakness is a headache, to be honest, with this Pokemon. I think that's probably going to be the most off-putting thing. Having a fighter that's weak to Lantern is just kind of rough. That's where, like, you know, Medicham is just objectively better than this Pokemon, unfortunately. And of course we are going to see a Lantern. I'm just going to YOLO the Moonblast. The Chestnut had a little bit of energy, if I recall, and we're going to YOLO this off. Get a little bit of chip on this thing. They do swap out and get an energy lead on this thing. So it's a tricky situation, right? Like, I need Dragonair to basically beat everything. So I'm going to look to CMP in this move. I'm expecting this probably to be a Frenzy Plant bait, but we just sort of have to respect it on Dragonair. This Pokemon is basically here to like take care of business. Frenzy Plant coming through, and I'm just gonna basically come in and sack this thing. I think I just go for a pop just to get any sort of chip on this. I'm expecting them to look to get rid of me, because you'll see that these counters are really adding up on this chestnut, right? So like, if you do have shields, you can look to counter through things. Like, look how low that got. This is a grass type. Of course, if it was Venusaur, you would just be getting wrecked. I'm not sure why they didn't go for Frenzy in that situation. I think he wanted to try and get off 2 superpowers there, potentially, or maybe get a farm down with Lantern. But you're seeing, look at those counters rip through Lantern. And now we're in a position where we can just look to farm this the whole way down. We're seeing probably 2 of the worst Pokemon for this Pokemon. And you're seeing it has a lot of play still. The counters just really add up, and this is such a huge improvement. Of course, it wouldn't be a Go Battle League video without a little bit of Go Battle lag. That always seems to happen whenever you've got a 1-turn move, just after they throw the charge move. It freezes, and you're like, please farm them down, farm them down. But fortunately enough for us, you know, we did farm them down, and I decided to go for like a double water team here. I think I misplay this game here, so we'll have a look here. I go for the overfarm, expecting them to just dump off this move, and I feel like I can live this, and like I do want to save shields for Poly, so I'm going to YOLO this move. They're super low, like, so I'm not really expecting them to shield it. I probably could have kept this alive. In comes Tapu Fini, who just one-shots us there, and in comes Lantern, in comes Trevenant, and maybe I could have just insta-swapped out of here. I wanted to try and chip them down with this Thunderbolt, and maybe look to like even sacrifice the other thing, or do something with it. Then I realised, you know, I've got Power Punch, so I can maybe look to bait here. I think I've got some bait opportunities, because they get to these moves in 6 and 5, so I might be able to slightly outpace if I go for 2 baits. So that's kind of the play here. Just a little bit tough, unfortunately, though. The one game we do go for this sort of setup, we do get double in the back, double grass in the back, so a little bit awkward. I probably could have went for another Power Punch there. I probably should be just like straight up going for damage here with the counter. But you're seeing like this is pretty much just counter damage, like, and we're countering this thing down pretty well. The same pace on the next move, and they're still like ahead in energy as well. So this is going to be very, very tricky no matter what. And I think they may like to come in, and yeah, I think they just farmed up to the Seed Bomb. They could have just probably taken me out there, but I think they wanted to chip us down first with the Tapu, and make sure that we don't get like a good overfarm or anything like that. They just throw a Surf there wisely enough to get us into range, and I just know they have the move, so like I just throw this Thunderbolt, look to get rid of them, and GG's on that one. Pretty rough backline, but like it did get pretty close in the end, and I feel like Trevenant, this is a Poliwrath video, but watch out for Trevenant in the coming days. Thank you very much to Jai for those first battles, and we're playing a battle here against Ripley, 32, who's another Go Battle League content creator, and he's got a very fun team for us. I'm going to look to chip it and dip it here, and we're going to come into Vigoroth on this occasion. Again, you know, this leaves you a little bit weak to Medi, I feel like, so I think I do prefer a Haxorus. I mean, you will see Charm, because of course, if you're running double weak to Charm, you probably will see it at some point. There is a new team that's out, which is double Charm backline, so I mean, good luck with that one. But I thought I wanted to throw this in here, because I think it is a good option there, and yeah, the opponent's going to take us out with the Hydro Cannon. Now, I think at this point we come in with Poly, we're going to look to lock them in here, and look to maybe get ramped up on this. Yeah, they're actually farming the whole way up to the Earthquake, so I think I might respect this here. Like, if they get off 2 moves, that's absolutely fine, and in comes Charizard. Now, I should have been going for a bait on this one. This is a very easy shield for them, right? So like, I probably should have just went for the first bait. Now, I know this is just a Dragon Claw, I believe, or I think I called it was a Dragon Claw. It is the Dragon Claw, boom. That definitely hurts quite a lot. This Pokemon is definitely a Glass Cannon, which might be why you want to run, of course, on the normal Pokemon, just like the harder hitting moves. I come into DD here at this point, and the Swampert is super low, and they just dumped a couple of Hydros, so we should be in a very good position here. Blastburn coming through, we just shielded up correctly. We're going for a slight overfarm as well, just to completely make sure of things, but the opponent is basically in counter down range, and that's going to be a good game at this point. Yeah, in comes Swampert, we're going to like to counter it the whole way down before they get off the move, and that's good games well played. So hopping into this next one here, and by the way, I just want to let you guys know that whenever I do these practice battles for videos like this, I don't tell people what to run. This just sort of happens to be what they run, and we're running the triple counter team again. This is definitely by far my favourite team with this. It may not be that great in the Great League, but it's definitely a very fun team. Now, I can live a Shadow Ball, I'm going to let it go. The opponent lets their first move go as well. Maybe I could have looked to go for the Thunderbolt, but I think Psycho Boost is better to go for there. In comes Scrafty, and you're about to see the power of this thing. The opponent's running, it looks like a Great League remix team, with Golbat in the lead and Scrafty on the swap. Pup coming through here, and you're going to see that Scrafty is going to start running for us a little bit here. I do want to get off another Pup here. I don't necessarily want to eat even another Pup. We want to try and maintain health on this thing as much as possible. And it has boosted Ice Punch, which already would have, you know, taken it out from like half health. We'll definitely take out the Skullbat. We're gonna see what's in the back, and it is a Dugong. And you guys know how bulky this thing is. Look at us absolutely run through this thing. This is a non-shadow, and we're only going to get even more boosted. Look how low we are, but, you know, this thing cannot do a single thing against us. And these teams that you're seeing these days with Umbreon and Dugong, they are going to get absolutely ripped apart by this thing. So really happy, like, we've seen a lot of different team compositions, and definitely do let me know what you think about Poliwrath. I really enjoyed using it, and I think I will use it for probably more spicy type content, but it's definitely a fun one, and I highly recommend getting out on Community Day, catching a bunch of them. I think it'll be better for Ultra League, which I may try out tomorrow for a video. I think maybe Henry uploaded it for Ultra League. I think this Pokemon will shine more in Ultra League for sure, because in this league we do have Medicham, and of course Lantern, like, which are just pains, Noctowl. In Ultra League, I think this thing will get a lot more play, and of course it has a lot more bulk. It's going to be level 44, so it's going to cost a lot of dust to build, but I think it definitely will be a fun one, and I highly recommend, like I said, going and playing the Community Day. Thank you very much everybody for watching, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you all tomorrow for a brand new video.